Patreon.com, fighting words. Love the boys, support the boys with £2 a month, £3.50 a month, £5 a month, or £10 a month if you're feeling particularly spenny. You know, the only way to really defeat the cost of living crisis and inflation is to give us cash to make sure that we feel independently wealthy from our art. And supporting art is the best way to do it. Also, if you really want to support the art like our sponsors do, xbrain.co.uk and a promo code fighting words to save 20% off any and all xbrain related products at checkout. And our boys Market Squawk, powered by livesquawk.co.uk. All of your on-demand come and go as you need data needs. It is basically low latency. Any asset classes out there, like they are a complete Squawk provider for anyone and everyone that is just living their best life and trying to defeat everyone. Now, this may be fringe undestructible. My children are still up. They're watching Lego Friends, so that not 100% there's going to be an invasion at some point.
Oh,
But that's all
100%.
weird. That's me, Jay. Listen, I didn't watch the Telford card that you worked. So what we'll do
Yeah.
is we will appease the algo. Shush. And then what we'll do is we will start with the stream that we did, which was
Yep.
very, very fun.
Yeah,
Eh,
100%. That was probably one of the best videos I've had to edit by far.
Yep. Fantastic.
So good.
Fantastic. Josh will be back for the AJ card. Jesse may be on assignment. I would imagine Ian will be back. And maybe even someone else that has banded around, but you never know, right? Artists are artists for a reason.
I'm here to campaign that Josh is on every reaction video
He's so
because
funny,
he
isn't he?
is so brilliant. It,
He's
it
so
was
funny.
when he grabbed Streets and then goes over Streets to grab Jesse.
He has
So
to
good.
self-soothe with human contact because it was just too much for him at that
Oh, it's
point. He just
brilliant.
he just needed the energy of another human just to just get him moving. Right.
Yeah.
I don't care about Pitbull Cruz. That was fine. It was a fun fight, whatever. That dude, that Giovanni dude, he was awkward. He was tough. It was whatever. Daddy's recording. Be quiet. And then on top of that, main event. Right.
But one sec. Firstly, before we go into the main event, Garcia's instantly called out Pitbull Cruz.
Yeah,
Is that
Pitbull's at a weight below. Garcia's moved up in weight. So we're going to just say that that is 100% irrelevant.
okay?
Right, it's irrelevant
To be
because
no one wants to hear about it. To be fair, we all know what everyone wants us to talk about.
exactly, Pitbull is a small, stocky lightweight, and Ryan is a big, long, now light welterweight. So that
Yeah.
irrelevant, completely irrelevant. Don't worry about that. Ryan, take your 30 bar, carry on, start campaigning at 140 because it's getting quote unquote lit, no cap, or whatever else you lot say. Right. Main event,
Wow.
phenomenal. Right?
Incredible.
It anyway was pound for pound king from Tuesday to Saturday night. And then it's just completely and utterly gone. Right? It's not even a question. Right? The pound for pound list goes Bud, Inoue, fine. Usyk probably number 3. Yeah?
Yeah.
From a beating standpoint in a fight that was supposed to be around 50-50, there wasn't like it, no one on the stream was like Spence is going to win because Bud is Bud, right?
Yeah.
Bud is something special, we know that. But when it's something supposed to be close to a 50-50, off the top of my head, Fury Wilder 2 was like that. It was a
Yeah.
beatdown. And then before your time, Floyd and Corrales. Corrales was this big knockout punching boxer puncher. It was not supposed to be what happened. And what actually happened is that I think Floyd knocked him down 6 times, and in the end, his dad had to pull him out. Right. What we saw on Saturday night was a stone cold killer virtuoso. He knew he we said, like I said from the jump, Bud was always going to be the better puncher, right?
Yeah.
The skill set of Bud is unfathomable. He probably, and it's going to sound like I'm fanboying, I don't care. All of the Spence lovers, Daddy's recording, please be quiet, right? And then all of the other stuff going on, he is just flawless,
Yeah.
completely
Hun-
flawless.
I think going into it, I mean, the reason why it was one of the most anticipated fights of the last, few years, let alone this year, was because of how 50-50 it was. I think a lot of people would have said Crawford was going to win because
Yeah,
I think there's a lot more Crawford fans in the world than there are Spence fans. Now, it's nothing against
probably.
Spence. I just think
Yeah,
Crawford's more of a name.
yeah, maybe.
No one would have predicted it went like that though, because you know that everyone said that Inoue made Fulton look regular.
Yeah,
That is an understatement to say what Crawford did to Spence. Like
yeah.
he made
He beat him up.
yeah, he made that fight look like a regular boxing fight where it's a champion versus a mandatory or whatever. He
Yeah,
didn't make that look like it was the most anticipated fight of the year.
no.
And that I think you have to give him so much credit for that because to go into go into the biggest fight of the year and then make it so one-sided, I think just
Yeah.
shows like the level of talent and that, which is why he's now getting compared to who would win, Bud now or Floyd in his prime, and stuff like that.
He sits with the sugars at the minute,
Yeah,
right? I'm sure this can all go, but like Ray Robinson, who's up on the wall above us, shout out Ray Robinson, the greatest of all time. He had that same thing. There is just something about Bud where it's just he's a savage, right? He was jabbing with Spence with his head off the line and covering up and landing his jab harder than Spence, and Spence didn't know what to do. When Spence was coming in for the body attack, which he would do, he would lean forward and cover up. And Crawford would have half a step, half a step back. He knew that Spence's balance was ever so slightly off. He would come round the sides and he would land afterwards. When that first knockdown happened, it was like, oh, sweet baby Jesus, sweet 8 pound 9 ounce baby Jesus. This is going to get wild. But there was also that moment where Spence is Spence, right? Arguably, I mean, we see him get thrown out of a Rari and come back like nothing happened. You know what I mean? He is as tough as he gets. And I want to say that as well. That fight solidified just how tough Spence is. At no
oh,
point was there
100%.
any quit in him whatsoever.
Yeah,
I, from round 6 on that stream, was saying the corner needs to pull him out.
yeah. I
Right?
mean, I think I can't remember who it was. I think it was Streets, or it might have been you on the stream where they said Bud can finish him now at any moment. Like,
Yes.
and it was one of those ones where like Spence was just going and going and going, and he could have gone out any time. I mean, quote of the night off the stream was Streets going. Spence looked worse coming out of that fight than he did out of that car.
Yeah, for sure. He got beat up. He got
Yeah,
beat up completely, and it was a mix of he took Spence's jab away. He completely remained in southpaw all the way. He instinctively knew what Spence was going to do
yeah,
before Spence knew what he was going to do. But then on top of that, there was the arm control of everything that he did. He was like L stepping out and then coming back in. He was changing angles on him. He just absolutely and utterly destroyed the person that people thought was. I mean, I don't know. I haven't met anyone that actually thought Spence was going to win. But then the
but I
people
think
that I
that's more on
talked
name than
to,
talent, if that makes sense.
yeah, but the people that I talked to about the fistic arts obviously know what Bud is, and like there was nothing that said that Spence was going to do other than potentially what the caveat to that fight was going to be if Spence got into Spence mode where he's mauling and roughing and doing it, right? We've all seen people try and do that with Bud before, and he did try to do that with Bud, right? Bud had his number in everything. I think we counted like 3 or 4 shots that landed.
Yeah,
Bud battered him, including the second knockdown, which was one of the shots that landed, but it kind of got deflected, catched, countered, and then just came back with the hellfire, mushed him up, bad. Then there was another knockdown in the 7th round, mushed him up even worse, and then we got a stoppage in 9. It was phenomenal,
I mean it
absolutely
was
phenomenal.
it was a world class performance against world class opposition.
Yep. And
That's
during
the
that
best way
world
to
class
describe it.
performance against world class opposition, he then turned to the undisputed 154 champion and basically said, "You're getting it next." And I
Yeah,
believe that he is going to get it next because it's Other than the weight, it's a very hard sell for that rematch. It
Oh,
wasn't.
100%. I
It
think
wasn't
if they do
close.
the rematch, it will be the weight above.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But even
Yeah.
in the weight above, Spence was the stronger man. Bud was the stronger man. Bud was the better conditioned man. Bud was a different galaxy when it come to skill set, instincts, punch. Like the punch selection was out of control. It was just he knew everything that he needed to do. It was truly awe inspiring to see. Right
What
when
do
we
you
saw Fury beat up Wilder, he beat him up. Right, he did that and he beat him up, and there was a lot of respect to it and all that other stuff. This was different.
yeah.
This was
What do
Floyd
you
Corrales
think of
style.
boots being made the mandatory?
He is the mandatory. I I have. There is nothing to say that Boots has enough to beat Crawford or even do anything. I think more than likely what you get with that is that if Bud is feeling particularly mean, which he always is, right? He will say, "Okay, boy, you're gonna get like the Floyd Canelo beatdown,
Yeah.
complete sunning." It either makes Boots into the Boots that he can be, or it ruins his Boots career. But I will not, with a church next to me, blessings and shapeshifting Jesus, amen. You can't. Like what have we seen from Boots? He's not been at world level, and we've just seen a two-weight crowned undisputed champion who, let's be real, when he wants to make it number three, he can. And I think he's probably big enough to go to middle just about.
I mean, I think with Boots, I want to see the fight 100%, but not
So do I.
yet. I think,
I don't want to see the fight at the behest and the sacrifice of
yeah.
Boots and his
I,
career.
I I'd prefer to see Boots fight. I mean, you look at Crawford and you look at Spence's resumes. Like they've both Spencer's got a really good resume. I would love to see Boots maybe one or two of them, a few more names on the list before you
Yeah.
step in a ring with Crawford, because how you just described that fight would be it's the equivalent of Boots is going to take the L. It's either that L is going to make him or break him.
Yeah.
But you don't want a talent like that going into the ring know it
Yeah.
or not knowing, but with everyone thinking, how's he going to take the loss instead of theoretically he could win this.
This is it. And with Boots, there's so much that we can see with him, but we haven't seen him really with true top five opposition yet. We haven't seen it. So, let's see him fight an Ugas. If Sean Porter was still fighting, Boots versus Sean Porter, Thurman even. Let's see Thurman and Boots. Let's see any of these ones that have been world champions, that can be world champions, etc. Thurman's off his nut calling out Bud. Like, I don't know how you watch that.
Yeah,
Listen,
I don't
is
know
there
how you watch
anything
that.
sadder than Keith one-time Thurman with his hair trimmed all the way down on a bald spot now? But it's sore. That's sore. You used to look like the vampire in Brooklyn. You used to look like Blackula. Like now you don't. It's bad.
I don't
Okay.
I don't see how you watch that fight and go, I want a bit of that.
No, you definitely don't
Like
want a bit
you've
of
you've
that.
got to have you've got to have a screw loose to be able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, he probably does a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Right. There is nothing more to say about Bud Crawford other than immense, virtuoso, genius, pound for pound king, um, and that's it. Even down to his ring wear.
What
Ah,
a
the net.
oh, it was brilliant. Completely brilliant. Especially how that fight then went and played out.
Unbelievable.
What
Unbelievable.
are what are your thoughts on the comparison to Prime Floyd?
It's very different. I don't know. I don't know that. I mean, that would be.
Is that a video in itself?
Oh, mate, that's. I have no idea how that would go. Would that come up on the stream?
Yeah.
It really like it came up while we was live. Like a Prime Floyd and that version of Spence. God knows. God knows what happens.
Yeah.
Right,
I
and
mean,
that's rare because there's always something with Floyd where you just like Floyd probably edges him, but I don't know.
they must be licking their lips at the fact that Crawford's 40-0 can
Right.
feasibly get to 50-0 with
Easily.
already a greater KO record than Floyd. They must be licking their lips at that.
Maybe, but it's like for like, right? There's no one. I mean, the closest thing that we saw to the great rival for Bud so far has been Spence, and that happened, right? So would Spence have would Floyd have beat Spence? 100%. But it would have been a very different fight. It would have been a complete shutout, or it would have been, wide,
Yeah,
fucking 8-4 something. It would have been wide, 10-2, 8-4. It would have been a complete outclassing as opposed to an assault. And he did assault him bad. But again, Spence is so tough, and he took that like an absolute G. His corner should have pulled him out 2 rounds before that. I understand why they didn't. I understand they know him so well, and he is super tough, and blah 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 blah. Don't know.
it
Giz
was
has been
only going
smashed up
one
in
way, wasn't it?
cars. Exactly. Like I don't know what happens with Spence now. Stephen A. Smith said that he should retire. I think that's a bit
No,
that's a bit severe. Let's see him at 154. Let's see what happens at 154. Maybe we get Spence and Tim Zoo or something for a vacant belt, or maybe Charlo vacates the belts. He's not going to vacate those belts because he's going to go up to 168. I would be astonished if he even puts on a decent showing against Canelo. 2 weights up. Come on now, boy. Anyway, please talk to me about Telford. How the Paradise? How was it?
Do you know what? It was actually a really good week. It was a really
Yeah,
good week. It's my fourth show in Telford now. I seem to be up there
decent.
every other month at the moment.
Would you say
Um,
that you're like the ambassador?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
York Hall and Telford cards back to back to
Yeah,
back.
yeah, 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 yeah. You know what's up.
But it was, it was a really fun card. It was, another good one to work on. It was the first one I did all the backstage interviews for on the undercard,
Yes,
which I was,
famous.
very very happy with.
Yeah,
Um, but no, it was a good card. The main event went completely like opposite. I mean, we all thought we were in for a 12 round close decision one at the end. Liam Davis did not let it go that way.
nope.
And before I go on to Liam, like if that's Jason Cunningham's last fight, which I think everyone kind of backstage kind of thought it might be, I
Mm-hmm.
thought it might be going into it. I think he can hold his head up really high with the career he's had. And
Yeah,
how I describe Jason Cunningham is this will probably go over your head, but there's a footballer called James Milner who's
I know Milner.
Mr. Consistent, Mr.
Milner.
A lot of people call him boring, but
Did Milner have a
he's
sex tape?
no, he's he's like the player's professional, like he's the professional's professional. And that is what it's been like working with Jason Cunningham over, the last year and a bit. Like he understands the game through and through.
Who did Milner play for?
He played for Liverpool, he played for Man City, he played for Aston Villa,
I'm telling you, I know Milner, and I
Leeds
think
United. He's yeah. Anyway, but he's they might call him a bit boring, whatever. But he's like the professional's professional, and
okay.
he's won everything he can win. Jason Cunningham, I think, won belts at 3 different
Was
weight
Milner with
classes.
Jody Marsh?
I don't know. I
I'm
don't
telling
think
you,
so.
I know the name James Milner as a footballer for a reason, and it's not what you think. James Milner, soccer player. Go on, you carry on talking while I'm doing this. I'm gonna put my spectacles
Um,
on.
yeah, Jason Cunningham. Yeah, he's won belts at different weight classes. He's had 32 wins, 8 losses, and he's had some wars where I mean, against Tete, he got sparked right out, didn't he?
Yeah,
So I don't think anyone can take anything away from that man, and if that is his last fight, because you look at the bantamweights, Queensberry have now, I wrote them down. We've got Dennis McCann, Brad Strand, Andrew Kane, Liam Davis, Baluta. Jason Cunningham's a good 4 years ahead of Baluta.
him.
Yeah, that's James Milner. Yeah,
I know him for some reason.
yeah.
This is
but
really gonna bother me.
Yeah, no, kind of, yeah. But all credit to Liam Davis because he made what everyone thought was going to be a 12-round fight. I thought I was going to be at that arena till gone midnight.
Hmm.
One round, one and done. And if you watch it back, I'm not sure if you've seen it. Knocked him down
Oh,
straight
Daddy's
away.
recording though, you know.
Knocked him down straight away. Where I think there was a standing count because Cunningham ended up falling and kind of turning his back. And then
Nice.
there was this filthy shot where he got him in like almost like the throat, and his um you know when it stays there for a second or two,
Yeah.
and he just used that just to guide something right onto the chin, and then after that it was like, nah, it's done.
How did Moses get on?
You know what Moses did really well. He got the rounds in. Another I think he did 6 rounds this time, if I
Okay.
remember correctly. Got to 4-0. He did say afterwards that he's hurt his hand again, but
Right.
he's scheduled to be out again for Joyce Zhang, so I think they want him out quite quickly.
Yeah, they want to get
Um,
him moving quick. They want to get his
yeah,
profile up, and they want to get him as many fights in while he is. So, I mean, what is he? 17 still.
he's 18
18,
and
he's turned
he
18 then.
towers over me, and he's got the lowest voice in the world.
Oh, dude, he's massive.
I'll tell you what though, one thing going into their change rooms,
Pause.
he's got the he's like it was just good vibes, good music. They're all just chilling in there. It was good. It was good. Ethan James had a good performance. Amar Akbar, who I'd never met before, I think it was his first fight on Queensberry.
Right.
He made a statement straight away, first round
Yeah.
knockout. And
Decent.
then I've highlighted it here on our notes. Owen Cooper, who's the I think he's the
Mm.
Midlands Southern area. He went all the rounds with this guy called Zamora, who was shout out to do you know Connor Slater, the promoter? So he
No.
brings in away fighters. I met him while at Hennessy,
Mm.
and I call him the Nicaraguan Eddie Hearn because he's so good at just finding random South
Is he?
American fighters that have got like the toughest heads, and they're always from Nicaragua as well.
Nicaragua, not
I'm from Cornwall.
Nicaragua.
I'm
Yeah, I know
from
you are.
Cornwall. I
I don't
got
know,
no
but it's
trust
my
in
job
that.
to help you. It's my job to help you a little bit. Nicaragua. Um, right. What have we got coming up? We got doing bits, lots of bits. Um, honestly, we haven't got any guests lined up, but that's easy to sort
Oh
out.
no, I
I
might
want you
I
get the
might
Foul
have
Brothers, yeah.
a
We got
certain
them.
brothers on.
I'll tell you who I want to get back on, and I wanted to do it before his fight, but it just never happened because of busyness and stuff. I want Big Steve back on because I want Big Steve.
100%.
I want Big Steve to be Big Steve. I don't want to talk about. I don't really want to talk about boxing that much with him. I just want to talk to him. He's my boy. Uh, Again, on the YouTube channel, there is a exquisitely cut highlights of the Bud Spence banger. It
It
was
took
amazing.
so long to woo out Jesse Page. My God.
Ah, Jesse was. Do you know what? It was only me and Ian that had a sip of alcohol that night, right? Only me and Ian.
To
Ian
be
only
fair,
had he had one gin.
I would have ended up falling asleep if I was drinking.
They took liberties then, boys. That Jesse and Josh turned up at midnight at mine. They were supposed to turn up at 1:30. I had been asleep for an hour ish, an hour and a half. I thought, you know what, I'll try and nick out 3 hours. Buzz, buzz, buzz on my watch. Jesse Page. I'm like, Jesse Page, what's going on? Like, I'm concerned. Jesse Page doesn't phone people. Jesse Page, Jesse Page is outside. Hi, we got the final tube here. So they woke me up so they could sleep in the chairs.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because that's when I FaceTimed you. Because that's when I finished work.
Yeah. And what was I doing at that point? I was just loading everything up at that point because
Yeah,
there's
yeah.
no way you're going back to sleep. It's just not happening.
Oh no, you're done at
No,
that point.
no. And then I had things to do for at 7, 8, 10, and 11. So Daddy didn't sleep until the evening. But that's fine because to be honest, I
Just
don't
power
really
through.
sleep that much. No, I don't really sleep that much anyway. I probably only sleep 3 or 4 hours a night anyway because of mental illness and crushing anxiety and existential dread. And that's all good. Patreon.com fighting words. Now, the happiest I've ever been is also aligned with the richest I've ever been. So you can actually help my mental
Fact.
state by giving us money. Patreon.com fighting words. Love you all. Bye bye, sweet Sammy J.